1.
Hi, we're live in the Orlando Sentinel studios talking about the latest on Hurricane Matthew. I have a team of experts here to help me. I have breaking news reporter Caitlin Dornbos here with the latest info. I have social media reporter Jessica Gillespie answering your questions live on air. And I have Nassim Miller, our health reporter, to talk about some of the hospitals and different changes going on with that. So first, we just got an update. What's the latest?
Sure. The 2 p.m. update is very similar to what we heard at 11 a.m.
Okay.
The storm is moving at about 120 miles per hour. It's headed northwest towards Florida. Right now it's pounding the Bahamas. It's moving past Cuba, and it's moving at about 12 miles per hour, which is pretty fast.
Anything unexpected from the last update?
It's pretty similar from the last update. No new unexpected, except for the fact that, it's imminent. It's coming for us. That northwest movement, there's slim to no chance that it's not going to hit us.
Wow, so that's the first time we're really hearing that. It's definitely coming, no doubts about it. So what about county by county? How can we look at that and who's going to get hit the hardest?
Sure, yeah. Well, I think what's really interesting is that Governor Scott said that today that it's interesting that it's projected to go around the coast, which could mean the most evacuations that we've ever seen in Florida. Rather than having a direct impact, we don't know if it's going to have a direct impact, but it's going to go along those coastlines. So first, Brevard County is the one that everybody's really concerned about right now.
And they're evacuating right now.
They are evacuating right now. The mandatory evacuation for Brevard starts at 3 p.m., so in a matter of minutes. The tolls are open. So
if you're in Brevard right now and you're trying to come inland, the tolls are now free.
Right, exactly.
Okay. That's good to know.
Very important because people need to be leaving that area. If they haven't already, they need to be leaving right now. The breaking waves are expected at about 12 feet tall, and hurricane force winds of at least 74 miles per hour are expected to hit us overnight Thursday and into Friday. It'll start getting breezy Thursday, and it'll really make its impact on Friday morning.
Okay. Now, is Matthew a Cat 4 right now, or are we back to a 3 but might go up higher?
Good question. So on the scale, we're at a 120 miles per hour right now. So that puts us at a Category 3. But if we go up just 10 miles per hour more, as our projections are held, that will make us back to a Category 4. So right now, it's we know that we're not going to slow down, but it could increase back up to a Category 4 by the time it leaves the Bahamas and heads towards Florida.
Interesting. Now, what about Volusia County? That's also a coastal area. Are we evacuating there yet?
Right. No evacuations have been ordered there yet. However, it could, the storm could be the closest to a major hurricane that Volusia County has seen in a long time. So we're supposed to keep an eye and wait and see if those evacuations are coming in. I think that there's going to begin starting to ask for at least voluntary
evacuations in Volusia,
but not mandatory yet.
Okay, let's look at some closures, because I know that's the big question on everyone's mind. Are your children going to school? Are you going to college? Jessica has those answers for us. So there's been an update since our earlier show.
So nobody's going to school tomorrow or Friday in the area. Schools in Orange County, Seminole, Lake, Osceola, Brevard, Polk, and Volusia are closed Thursday and Friday for now. Also, UCF has finally announced it's closing its classes. They're ending today at 3 p.m. And all other university operations are ending at 5. The university is set to reopen by Monday. Seminole State is closing at 10 o'clock tonight and won't reopen until Monday. Valencia is closing tomorrow and Friday through the weekend. Daytona State's canceled Wednesday night classes and will reopen Monday. Stetson canceled classes earlier today starting at noon for the weekend. And also Barry University in Orlando and Embry-Riddle have canceled their classes. Embry-Riddle's classes don't cancel until tomorrow after 12:30 in the afternoon. But pretty much everybody, if you work at a school, if you go to a school, you're not going tomorrow or Friday. Everything is set to be closed.
So no buses will be on the roads tomorrow. No children are going to be walking to school. Every county in Central Florida is closed. So
keep your children home from school.
Okay, Great. Good to know. Thank you very much. Now let's talk about hospitals, and that's your area of expertise. So are there any evacuations yet on the coast, or any preparations being made?
Yeah, the only hospital that I've seen so far to announce an evacuation is the Cape Canaveral Hospital, and the picture that the story has really shows this hospital in the middle of water, so it makes a lot of sense for them to evacuate it. But as far as Central Florida goes, which is Orange, Seminole, Osceola, and Lake, all of the hospitals are continuing their operations as normal. They're not planning to go on lockdown or shut down. Emergency rooms are open. Urgent care centers are still open. Now, your doctor might decide to close his or her practice, and I'm sure you get a call from them if they do. Otherwise, everything is going as normal, and they all say they have filled up their generators, cleaned up their campuses from loose objects, and they have backup water and food. But the one thing they really asking people is to not use hospitals as a shelter. Because that's not really what they are having their supplies for. It's for the patients and the patients' families. So the county is setting up shelters, so that will be the place to go. If you have special needs, the county also has a special. Every county has a special needs shelter where there are equipment like such as oxygen tanks and things like that, and they're staffed with nurses.
So those are at shelters. Don't use the hospital as a place to stay overnight because you have a condition. There's specific shelters for those issues.
These are for people who are at home but they have mobility issues, like they're on an oxygen tank, or they're elderly who don't have anybody who cares for them, or they have a chronic condition, and a lot of these folks already have registered in the county registry. So the county sort of keeps an eye on them, and they expect about 200, 250 people who may be going to that special.
Do we have a list yet, or are they still coming out with that?
That list, they were finalizing it earlier today.
Okay, great. We'll keep an eye on that. Speaking of shelters, what about the general ones? Do we have any set up yet?
Right, yeah, there are in Brevard County. Now, as we mentioned earlier, there were mandatory evacuations. That's not for all of the county. It's just for
coastal areas.
Coastal areas.
Okay.
But those people can evacuate to the shelters. There's 8 listed on OrlandoSentinel.com that are for the general population. And then there's also 3 that are pet friendly. Because you've got to bring
Don't leave your pets at home, of course.
Exactly. And 3 of those locations have actual are pet friendly. You still want to bring your leashes. You want to bring your pet food. Cages if you have them, because as we can imagine, a room full of animals.
You don't want them running free and going crazy all over the place.
Exactly. And one thing, to Nasim's point, Brevard has actually opened up a phone line for people with special needs who want to seek shelter. That phone number, you can call Brevard County Emergency Management at 321-637-6670.
And that's for Brevard County if you have special needs or have questions about the shelters in general. Exactly. Great. That's really good information.
No shelters listed, but Orange County Mayor Teresa Jacobs said that she will be announcing Orange County shelters tomorrow.
Coming up soon. So if there are evacuations or the homeless population needs somewhere to go, that's where they'll be. All right. Do you have any questions, Jessica? Let's check in with you.
We don't have any questions right now on Facebook. But if you are watching us on Facebook right now, you can go ahead and ask us any questions. We'll work on getting answers for you.
Great.
I do have some information on theme parks and tourists.
So if you're not a local and you're here on vacation, what do you do? Because that's a big question a lot of people have.
Right. So obviously we've got a lot of tourists in the area. We've had some reach out to us and ask if they should reschedule their vacation, if they're already here, what they should do. Walt Disney World or Universal and SeaWorld are all monitoring the path. And they all also allow travelers to cancel or reschedule vacations booked through the resorts in the event of a hurricane warning, which we are under a hurricane warning. This is interesting. So Disney's got a bunch of those unique hotels and places to stay. So it's Fort Wilderness Campground. If you're staying in a bungalow at the Polynesian, or if you're staying in Treehouse Villas at the Saratoga Springs Resort, they are offering to move guests from those locations into other lodging because the structures might not be as sound and sturdy as other ones. So they have that opportunity available for those who are staying.
And I'm sure you'll get a call if you're staying there or have something booked there. You're going to be moved into a new facility.
And one of our reporters today, Sandra Pedicini, tweeted a camper at Fort Wilderness found a letter from Disney at their campsite.
Oh yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, so it's right here saying, if you want to go into a regular hotel room, just let us know. So that's good to know. But we do also have a story about some tourists who are just continuing their vacations here, and you know they're like, I'll get the vacation that I get. That's cool. So
Yeah, a little bit rainier and a little bit windier potentially,
yeah,
but
maybe,
they're
maybe
still
a little
gonna
bit more indoors.
still be warmer than some other places
Yes.
around here. And it's important to mention that all of our information on OrlandoSentinel.com pertaining to Hurricane Matthew will be free, so there will be no paywall once you log on to the website. It'll be 100% free, so all of our coverage here will be included. So let's catch up on the updates. So we have all schools closed. The path is still towards Florida. Prepare if you're in the coastal regions. Make sure you're evacuating, or at least preparing your house at the least if you're more inland.
Right.
What else do people need to know at this point?
Well, Seminole County could expect to see a flood watch
Okay,
happen
Seminole.
today.
Okay.
So that's something. I would
So
say
Seminole County is a flood watch. Okay, what about Lake? Have we heard anything about them? I think we had a question earlier about Lake County specifically.
Yeah, definitely. Lake County, we are expecting to see tropical storm force winds there.
Okay.
Now, the difference is tropical storm force winds, I believe that's 25 miles per hour to 35 miles per hour at least. So that's
Could still cause damage.
very damaging, yes.
Okay.
But you don't have the 74 mile per hour winds yet that are associated with hurricane force winds.
Okay, and you said earlier we can start seeing these effects as early as tomorrow
afternoon. It's going to
afternoon.
start getting breezy tomorrow morning. Those winds are going to kick into high gear throughout the day. We're going to see the peak winds Thursday night into Friday morning.
Okay, and when's our next update from the National Hurricane Center coming
They
out?
are sent out every 3 hours.
Okay.
So we just got one at 2. We'll expect another update at 5 p.m. and we'll update online at OrlandoSentinel.com.
OrlandoSentinel.com, our hurricane guide on our homepage. Like I said, it's free. Nassim, do you have any last health-related things, anything you want to tell people that might have questions?
I'm going to have a story up soon with all the information about the hospitals and clinics and the VA. So, and I'm going to keep it updating like everything else we have on our website. So you can just go on OrlandoSentinel.com and see what's the latest with the hospitals. And if you have a doctor who's an independent doctor, I'm sure you're going to hear from them if they change their schedule.
Definitely. Make sure to download our app as well if you want the alerts. You'll get it first. Jessica, go to you before we go off. Do you have any last questions from anyone that's watching live?
We do. Anne wants to know any idea how we find out if airline flights are canceled. So what
Good
you
question.
can do with that is you can check with your airline. The airport might still be open, but that doesn't mean that your plane is going to leave either Sanford or Orlando International. So always call your airline, check online for the latest on your specific flight.
And as of now, it's been open, no
Yes.
closures at airports. We did have some closures at the port.
Right. We did at Port Canaveral. Port Canaveral is closed, and actually right before we came on air, I did see something come in from Melbourne International Airport.
Okay.
So we might want to check there for closings, because obviously Melbourne, that's
A lot closer to the coast.
Exactly.
Okay, so if you're traveling on Melbourne Airport, check their website, make sure they're open. Cape Canaveral is closed. If you're taking a cruise, you might want to call your cruise line, make sure it is still on or not.
Right.
And of course, check OrlandoSentinel.com for all your latest details. Like I said, anything pertaining to Hurricane Matthew is free. Thank you so much for joining us.